and then number 2 will be the letter with the recommendations that Mr. Tejana is making, and the last will be on those questions that members must forward if they have. And I hope that members have also listened to the comments of Honorable Breitenbach when she says that we need to be reasonable with the time that we allocate for members to submit questions so that we make the work of the technical team easier. They must have those responses in time and be able to factor them in the final report that will be made available to the committee for consideration. Can I rotate members for your inputs on the 3 items that have been presented here?
Okay, I see Advocate Orange's hand is up.
Oh, okay, Advocate Arens, may we hear you before we rotate?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. I just wanted to request that I be recused from any discussion on the item that concerns me, Honorable Chair.
Okay, that is fair. So then it means let's take the.
Sure if my input is further required.
Let's take the 2 items, item 1 and 3, and then we will release you when we deal with item 2. Is that okay?
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yes, honorable members who are rotating item 1 and 2. 1 and 3, we will deal with item 2 later so that we can allow Advocate Aranse to recuse himself from the meeting. Honorable Sangoni, who is speaking from the ANC?
Thank you, Chair. I will go first and then other members of the ANC may add. Chair, maybe just to start off with some clarity-seeking questions, whether the color codes on the witness schedule represent anything. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is green, all the other people are red. So can we take it that those dates are confirmed, or is it still proposed? And this, Chair, is quite important for us because, as we indicated, if we have to, agree with the extension as proposed based on the availability of witness, it would be our hope that these dates are not going to change. Chair, let me also thank the Speaker, thank the evidence leader for securing the participation of physical appearance of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. You will know it has always been the view of the African National Congress that neither of the 2 gentlemen, Mr. O'Sullivan or Mr. Mokhotsi, must be allowed to appear virtually before this committee, that they should present them physically, to the extent that we fully supported and backed the call that summons must be issued to them. I think from the advice of the Speaker, it's clear that at least we have found a way to ensure that on the basis of rationality, reasonableness, justification, this witness is able to appear before us. So we do thank all of you, the Speaker, the Chair, and the evidence leader for the role that you have played in securing that attendance. Chair, secondly, I also wanted to check on the issue of the witnesses. I'm not sure if Bonani responded to the, I know he responded, but I'm not sure if it's captured in the schedule. The issue that Honorable Skosana had raised about a missing witness, whether that witness has now been covered in the schedule, in which case it's not a problem. Otherwise, we may just need to get an explanation what would have happened in that regard. Chair, our hope as the African National Congress is that this is really the final extension. I think based on today's meeting, there's a general view that says where we have justification, we're able to identify persons or people from correctional services, and I know we spoke about NPA, that we should call. I think that has been agreed to. But can we now agree that we are casting this program in stone, and we are not going to make changes, save for to add correctional services if we need to, as well as NPA? On the issue of Ms. Sarah Jane Trent, Chairperson, I see that there's a disclaimer that we need to consider if it's necessary for her to come. We had long agreed to Ms. Sarah Jane to present herself before the committee, but we would be persuaded if other colleagues think that if Mr. O'Sullivan, as her boss, is here, that sufficiently covers the issue. But we have no view either way on Ms. Sarah Jane Trent. She can appear. We're also amenable if she doesn't appear. And then the final question I have, Chairperson, relates to the matter of the so-called witnesses to be assessed. When can we expect a report on that? Because we don't want this program to now change where there's a discussion that new witnesses must be called. So if we could just get clarity on that, and I think our support on this extension to the 6th of March as the last date of the hearings is based on all of those factors being considered and all of those witnesses scheduled within that period, and no further extensions beyond that. I think maybe let me stop here, Chair, and then other colleagues from the ANC are free to add. Thank you, Chair. Oh, sorry, and then the last item, which was the last item, number 3, you.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the letter to the President. Yeah, the letter is to the President, Chair. The African National Congress has made our submission to Wonani in terms of questions. So we don't have an outstanding matter there. And then I'm not sure whether the deadline of after SONA is the same for letters to other institutions. But at this point, we still have the one letter that we were requesting be written to SAPS with regards to the progress on the investigation of the murder of General Mfaz. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Maybe before we take the next speaker, if clarity can be given on the color coding, because when I saw it for the first time, I thought those in green were the witnesses identified by the ANC, and those in red were witnesses identified by the EFF. Just on a lighter note, honorable members, can we?
Chair, that green looks like PA green, Chair. Let's just be clear.
Can I explain that, Chair?
Yes, Honorable Tejan.
No, I'm not. Okay, Chair. Chair, the green. Remember that the duration of the committee, Chair, even as things currently stand, expires on the 20th, which is next week, Friday. So the green on Mr. O'Sullivan merely says he is the only witness who has been fitted within the formal duration of the life of the committee. So in other words, the red ones, what it means, Chair, is that we have no extension from the Speaker or from the House to schedule those ones. And of course, if the members are with counsel in so far as saying these are the witnesses that you want, then that would then mean that a letter of requesting an extension will have to be addressed to the Speaker as soon as possible. So the green is just to say it's within the deadline, which is the 20th, and red merely says we're outside of what we've been given by the House. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. And then the inclusion of the prosecutor and any other witness that might have been left out, if they were to be included, it means the date may extend beyond the 6th of March.
No, Chair. Look, that's not the first option. The first option, Chair, would be that, of course, that will depend on honourable members, because the first option would be that we sit on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay. if there is any one or two witnesses missing,
Yes, Chair.
the proposal is that we must look for days within the deadline of the 6th of March.
Correct.
Thank you so much. Can we then move to the next speaker from the ANC, Honorable Sangoni? Who will that be, if there is?
Chair, I think yes, it's the Chief. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Ntuli.
No, thanks, Chair. Well, Chair, to a very large extent, I think Kusela has covered what one wanted to say. I'm just going to make two very brief additions. The first one is that I'm very happy that ultimately we have found a workable solution for Mr. Osuluven to appear before the committee and do so in person, starting tomorrow and ending on Wednesday. Because as honorable members will know, this matter has attracted a very, very wide coverage in the media and social media and resulted to a very large extent in a lot of exchanges in the public, including amongst ourselves as members of this committee. And the fact that a solution has been found without subjecting Parliament to what was potentially going to be a huge litigation, because it was clear that if he doesn't cooperate, we'll subpoena him. All that needed to be done is to do that subpoena in a correct way. We had the possibility to end in the court of law, and that has been evaded or avoided. I think is quite commendable on your leadership as our chairperson and with whatever guidance and advice that the office of the Speaker and the Speaker herself provided in the process. The second issue is the issue relating to the extension. Chair, we are really not that comfortable with this extension. And I'm happy that Mr. Techane has made an addition, because when I initially wanted to comment, I was going to suggest that we don't take a firm decision here and now about the actual date at which the extension should be made, without having had a report from our legal team on the assessment they were going to conduct with those potential witnesses whose appearance before us had not been finalized until they've done the assessment. And I was very concerned that if we take a decision to extend and we even put a date, not just a principle, but equally a date, and yet that work has not been concluded, aren't we putting ourselves in a difficult position where we may be required to come back and review the data again? And but if Mr. Techane gives us an assurance that date, we can stick to it on the basis that whatever work that still needs to be done can be accommodated over the other days that we had not ordinarily used as part of our hearings, then I'm comfortable with. But if there is no absolute certain on that, I think it would be problematic for us to go back to Parliament and say, please give us an extension until the 6th or the 7th, whatever the date, and then we go back to them again in 2 weeks' time, and we further require another 3 or 4 days. So if we take a position like that, Chair, I really would like you, at the end of the discussion, to get an absolute confirmation from our legal team if that which we're deciding in this issue of the date is going to be possible and practically possible given the work ahead of us. Because Parliament has reopened. It's not unlike when we had to rush the date last year, because we did not want the House to rise without having authorized an extension. In this case, we have no rush for the House to rise. So we need to be very, very certain about what we're requesting, lest we would look like people who do not really have the capacity to plan their own work activities properly. Those are the comments I wanted to make, Chair. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, MKP.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Chair.
thank you very much, Chair. And greetings to members of the committee again, progressive comrades of this committee, who stood firm and who went out to denounce Paul Solomon's arrogance and the tactics of wanting to avoid appearing before this committee. Had it not been for that, Paul Sullivan would still be displaying his arrogance today. There is no guidance to be received from anyone. Progressive members of this committee went to the street to denounce Paul Sullivan's arrogance. And as a result of that, Paul Sullivan swallowed his pride. That is why he has taken a decision to come and testify physically, because he realized that he is no longer dealing with his friends here. He's dealing with sober MPs who are going to make sure that no one is treated is getting a special treatment here. The rule of law reigns supreme and everyone must be treated equally with other witnesses. So that is what has made Paul Sullivan to change his mind and nothing else. Regards to the program, Chair, our view is that Ms. Jane must come must appear, even if Mr. Paul O'Sullivan appears, because the nature of allegations against her requires her to give responses, because some of the allegations are allegations which implicate her directly. So the testimony of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan might not necessarily cover allegations which are directed against Ms. James. So we require her to come and appear before the committee on her own, so that we can ventilate all the matters that are surrounding her. So our view, Chair, is that she must come, and we don't think, and we don't know whether it will be possible or not to have a comprehensive interaction with her on the same day with General Kasane. I'm saying this because General Kasane is a very broad person when he responds to questions. So I think he needs his day, his one day. I don't see it practically possible to have both of them on the same day. But if the committee says we are rushing, let's have them on the same day, then we subject ourselves to the behest of the committee. Then, Chair, on the issue of extension, our view is very simple. We've always been saying that we can't compromise the quality of our work because of time limitations. And we can't throw under the window evidence or testimonies rather that might assist our probing and want to cite time limitations as an excuse. If there are more witnesses that we identified to be witnesses of interest, and that will require us to ask for extension, then let's request for extension, because here we need to be meticulous. We shouldn't do things under an impression that we are rushing. We should do things under an impression that we want to test all the allegations, invite all the relevant people, and we want to produce a comprehensive report for which we have done a widespread consultation or probing rather. So, Chair, we support a call for extension under the circumstances. There is absolutely no way that we can complete all this work under this time that we have set for ourselves. So our view is that let's give a mandate, the technical team to write a letter to the speaker and ask for extension at 10%. Honorable Skosana and Honorable Shaw will come in and make some decisions. Thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, hence I'm going to repeat again to say when we drop the ball, we must own up and should not come with excuses. The Secretariat know about this issue of public participation, and I'm happy that now it's back on the agenda here. I think I saw 5 people already here, which are flighted here. But indeed, the issue which I've raised earlier, I'm suspicious because I don't understand why that list of that what JT is not in the list here. After he has spoken to Ramano, 6 days later, still is not on the list. And that list were submitted to us. There were 15 of them. But I'm not sure what is happening here. I'm not sure what is happening here. It's disappointing to say the list. It doesn't matter, which color are you. The issue of Paul O'Sullivan, in fact, I think my colleague Honorable Nombalo has summarized it well. But we are not going to beg anyone to come here. Everyone must come and who's called to come before this committee, whether it's a ANC or it's Umkhonto we or any other party. We are members of parliament, all of us here. We need those witnesses which we identify, and I've made submission when it comes to judiciary, the issue of Wendy Matondo, Hudson Matondo is there. The issue of Silas Chabalala, the project is there. I can't go on if they are not accepted. So be it. But it should not be said there's no name, there's no submission. Submission are there with the Secretariat. Why those people were mentioned? For instance, I'll give you an example. Judge Lehodi, in the evening, gave a bail to Paul O'Sullivan. That you cannot arrest that man. You must give him 48 hours. What motivation? Why should we do another motivation on that? It's clear. He's the only person I've ever heard, unless somebody's got another evidence, who must be given an opportunity before he can be arrested. Besides the issue of Mabuyane, but that one he went to get a court order as well. It's a different ballgame. But I'm saying Paul O'Sullivan's got a court order which is breaking about to say he must be informed before he can be arrested. You must give him 48 hours. There's Judge Lehodi, he has retired now. But I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know why are we dealing about these issues. Evidence are there, submitted. So the issue of extension, Chair, I concur with the honourable member as well that we should be meticulous when we are dealing with these matters. We must not rush. We know it must end at the end of the day, But the issue, the chief whip as well said, perhaps we are shooting ourselves in the foot when we say on the 6th. But if the members feels that the 6th will be really enough, but for me, of what I'm seeing, I don't think the 6th will be enough. But indeed, the members will decide on that. But there's a lot of issues which we did not attend yet. There's a lot of them. And in fact, I'm blaming the Secretariat. I'm clear on that one. That they overlook other issues before them. Before them, they are with them. Before them. So they can't blame members to say we are not giving support or a document or submission of why others like the Vuma and the other there was submission like that, but others have been ignored. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm largely covered by the two speakers. Maybe on record, I'll just say, for the sake of about Paul Sullivan, Chair, I'll be there tomorrow. Thank you, Chair.
But you know that in terms of our culture, when you are bereaved, you can't do those things.
We finish a chair log. What the Baba still talk and I can't
Please, let's respect our mother and do things in terms of our culture. Please, I just want to plead. I just want to plead with you. It's to your own benefit.
Akunankinga nje ngiyayithemba insizwa zakithi lezi ukuthi azizubuyela emuva. Angikusho njalo nje asihloniphe isinto sakithi. Siyabonga nje.
The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll be speaking for the DA. Chairperson, the first issue is the suggested use of the Monday on the 23rd. Being a constituency day, it makes it extremely difficult. Some of us have got meetings cast in stone. So I don't know how many people that would affect, but it may well hit our quorum. Secondly, it doesn't seem there would be any need for an office assistant, being Sarah Jane Trent, to attend, having had Mr. O'Sullivan here for 2 days, 2 consecutive days. I'm not sure why Mr. Adams has failed to pitch so far, but hopefully he could be moved. And then finally, 2 more. One, we've done our questions. And finally, should we be scheduling, this is still in the works, as it were, because we have not yet been granted an extension. I know there was a huge reluctance to even do the 2 extensions we'd already asked for, or 3, I think. So that would have to be expedited before we can actually confirm the further interviews. Thank you, Chair. We're done.
Thank you so much. The EFF.
Thank you, Chairperson. We really want to thank the members of this committee who spoke very strongly about the appearance of Paul O'Sullivan. It is disingenuous to even want to include the speaker amongst the people who must be congratulated after her attempt to want to shield Paul O'Sullivan. In between her letter and the appearance of Paul O'Sullivan, nothing significantly happened which came from Speaker's office. Absolutely nothing. So it is not shocking that it comes from those who are actually defending that letter through the social media, writing paragraphs and paragraphs and alleging that people can't read because they think they are better off than other people or ordinary people of this country because they merely occupy a seat in parliament, which they may not occupy in the next election. So we are very happy that through the pressures of members of this committee, we're not part of any conspiracy. We have never benefited from Paul O'Sullivan's shenanigans. We have never benefited from any process that seeks to undermine the criminal justice system. Have done the right thing and became loyal to the oath they've taken as members of parliament, that they will serve the people of South Africa and they will protect the integrity and the standing of parliament, which is the primary responsibility of a speaker. But for a speaker to participate in a process that seeks to undermine the authority of this parliament, she must be ashamed and she'll go down as being a speaker that collapsed the integrity of parliament in defense of potential criminals who wanted to undermine this parliament. And we said, not under our watch, never. And it happened exactly as we said. that we are not going to allow this nonsensical thing to happen under our watch as members of parliament. So you must be proud as members of this committee for having not associated with criminality and for being loyal to your own your own oath of office that you have taken as members of parliament. And shame on those who tried to justify why people who have captured our criminal justice system were refusing and ridiculing and undermining this parliament. That's why Paul O'Sullivan has got the guts to say some members will not ask him questions because he wants to be asked questions by his friends. I had an interview tomorrow with 702 at 10 o'clock with Clement Manyatela. I cancelled it. I'm coming there. And there is nothing culturally, chairperson, which is going to stop me from coming there. I'm coming to attend to a person who has been running this country and running amok in this country. So finally, South Africans should be proud that they still have men and women of integrity in parliament who stands with the truth and nothing else but the truth. Chair, we are going to propose the extension of this committee for as long as there is an outstanding concrete issues that will bring us to the bottom of the capture of this criminal justice system. We're not going to be told here that we can't be postponing, open-ended. Who said once an open-ended? There's no open-ended. Our term of office ends after 5 years. It's not open-ended. It's 5 years. So whatever is going to take us to bring back the integrity of our criminal justice system, we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that we execute this responsibility without being blackmailed of a time frame and open-ended. So we are not going to be blackmailed. We support that this committee must be postponed and must be extended, and the critical people who must be called, they need to be called. There is no one who's asking for evidence or even prima facie evidence. Honorable Skosana, if you want Judge Luhodi, you put the name down and say, I want Judge Luhodi to appear because of the following issues. Why did he give? Then we debate that. We shouldn't want to mud the whole thing by creating an impression that there are people who want certain people not to appear. If Judge Luhodi must appear, we put the name Judge Luhodi and motivate. I put General Vuma. I said, we left General Vuma and he played a very critical role, and especially on PPEs. Some members will not be impressed with that, especially the PPEs. The PPEs. So we gave reasons why General Vuma must appear, and the committee agreed. There shouldn't be an impression that we are opposed to calling any judge or any prosecutor. We put a name and we say the things that we think need to be canvassed with this particular potential witness, and if that is going to help us, we'll support it without any doubt. Our terms of reference include the judiciary. Our terms of reference include the prosecuting authority. So if there are people in that space, because we have not canvassed those two spaces sufficiently, if there are people in that space who will help us to come to proper conclusion as this committee, let their names be put down, and then an engagement starts from there, and we come to a conclusion if indeed they must come or they must not come. We submitted the questions to the president the same day when we're given a time frame of before 4:30, something like that. We've already submitted our questions, Chairperson, and we fully support that this committee should go and ask for extension. There's an honorable member who spoke about the issue of Mondays. Mondays are very difficult, comrades. Honorable members, you should know that anyone, including the legal advisors and the parliament staff, as you suggest days, please bear in mind that Mondays are very difficult. In as much as we sit in that parliament, we've got a constituency to serve as well. We cannot be consumed by this responsibility and neglect other responsibilities that we have as members of parliament and as political leaders in our own right. So it's going to become a big trick there. You might agree to it and only to find that you do not have members on that Monday because they've got other pressing organizational matters and constituency matters. So, Chair, I am not agreeing with that suggestion of Mondays. It's not going to be easy. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much. Can I take Honorable Matthys?
Thank you, Chair. Just to follow up on President, the issue on Sarah Jane. I mean, it's interesting that the Senior Council would even bring up the fact that we said we were bringing her in because in the absence of O'Sullivan. It was in addition to her name. She's been charged, or she was charged for impersonating an IPED officer. In addition, she's been in and out of the IPED offices, so she must come here. There's no reason for her not to appear, and she can't be appearing on the same day as General Paklani as well. So we need to make sure that is properly scheduled. And also, she will assist in us picking up any inconsistencies between her and Paul O'Sullivan as well in that regard. And then on the issue of the public participation, we were supposed to long have finished public participation, Chair. So can we get a report on what happened? Because now we have to reschedule public participation. We just get random reports in meetings that some who we had approved for public participation have withdrawn. So can we get like a detailed report on each person that we agreed to and what was the outcome and why the person has withdrawn? In fact, they should even write to us and explain to us, those that have withdrawn, why they have withdrawn, because it looks like it's been very clumsy on how we have processed the public participation. And on the, also just on Paul O'Sullivan, he's sworn affidavit to us, to the ad hoc committee, and also that he was appearing here today, has been in public space before we have even known. So can we get some clarity on how did that happen? Did our senior counsel advise him that his sworn affidavit is not to be circulated in public until it's before us and a committee? Even the confirmation of the date, what engagements exactly did senior counsel have with him that his information is already out there in the public domain without us as committee members knowing about it? And I don't imagine any of the members of parliament who are in the WhatsApp group would have went and leaked that information. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sols.
Honorable Chair, I think maybe I should start with the issue of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan and Mr. Brown Mokhotsi and the Speaker's emphasis on administrative fairness. Because I hear the MKP and Honorable Malema from the EFF playing opposition politics here with this issue. And it's important that the public is clear. In our view, we celebrate the action that the Speaker of Parliament took in upholding parliamentary integrity. Why do we view it in that way? It is the Speaker's responsibility to close herself up from the noise knowing that what was going on outside, political noise, understanding all those dynamics and still maintaining parliamentary integrity is what she should be celebrated for. She could have participated as well, but she chose to emphasize administrative fairness. Let's be transparent. Was she correct to ask, was all remedial mechanisms exhausted before the last resort of subpoena? She has to make sure of that. It's her responsibility of this as a speaker to do so. Our terms of reference gave two options: physical and virtual. It is us as the PA who continuously said we must show fairness and we must say if we're going to allow others to do virtual, then we must allow Paul O'Sullivan to do virtual. Luckily for us, we've been consistent in demanding physical presence, and we emphasize that. But in our terms of reference, that option was there. So the speaker was saying, in our understanding, you have that in your terms of reference. They're willing to come, so they're not refusing to come. What would the subpoena be for? The subpoena will be to summons them to appear. They're not refusing to appear. Now, if you want the subpoena to be specifically appear in person, then satisfy the administrative requirements for why you would decline virtual appearance over physical appearance before a legal instrument is used that would cost time, that would cost money for the speaker to have looked at all those elements and say she will uphold parliamentary integrity by saying before I make this decision, so that parliament doesn't get embarrassed in court, make sure you as the committee have satisfied all remedial mechanisms so that when we go, our application is watertight. Then when it came back, all we had to do was ask ourselves, did we fulfill all those requirements? If so, we then tell the speaker, we've done everything now, do it. But because she took that approach, despite political noise, we should celebrate her for focusing on procedure and administrative fairness. Because of her wisdom, whichever way it is, whatever made Paulo Solomon decide now he's going to come in person, it's neither here nor there. Whoever wants to take glory for that can take glory for it, but don't, whilst take glory for it, make it look like the speaker was trying to protect, as Honorable Malema say, criminals or potential criminals, alleged criminals. We cannot do that to the speaker whilst ignoring that all she did was do her work. This is not a choice of personalities. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at, did she follow procedures? She did. Whatever reason it is now that Paul O'Sullivan is coming, whoever wants to take glory for that, take it. But not in the same breath diminish the integrity of Parliament that was upheld by the face of Parliament. That is firstly our submission on the issue of the Speaker. We celebrate her for standing up for parliamentary integrity and not just subpoena because political noise calls for it. We support the extension, Chair. We want to emphasize once again that in questioning, you know that we've been consistent in asking for more time so that we question. So I would want to ask that we consider that as we deal with the program and the extension, that we spend time questioning, especially with key witnesses. Then I'd like to propose on the program, 5 and 6th of March, I propose that we have the 5th for General Masimula, the entire 5th. And that General Mkwanazi is obviously should be a witness to close it all up, but also we dedicate an entire day for General Mkwanazi. So my proposal is just on that switch at the end of the program. Thank you, Chair.
James?
Thank you, Chair. I've been listening to all my colleagues here this morning, and I'm asking myself, who are we actually prioritizing here? Are we prioritizing and pushing our own political parties and agendas, or are we prioritizing South Africans? All these extensions, the one thing that we're trying to fix here, all of these extensions, truth be told, to the person watching and looking in after all these allegations and all this craziness that they are watching, further erodes public trust. And to them, it comes across as a delay tactic. At this point, what do we have to give the public after several extensions and after months of sitting? And what more do we want to hear? Especially, we've been saying this as Action SA, in the absence of a forensic expert to test the weight of all these accusations and people that come and implicate other people. All we do all the time, the minute a name gets dropped, we say, no, we must call that person. Maybe we can hear more. But how do we actually test this? This means, are we really going to sit here for the next 5 years? Every time we extend, a need arises to take testimony from an additional implicated person. How many of these witnesses why can't some of these people actually be filtered through to the portfolio committees? Because they also have a purpose. They're also there to conduct oversight over these departments. We cannot possibly sit here for 5 years and expect South Africans to be okay without even presenting them or giving them an interim report and saying, thus far, this is our findings. How much longer are we going to sit here? I think what we have right now, in the beginning, we said we should have had a way of identifying the key role players here and actually just take a decision there. We don't have to hear the rot remains the rot. Everyone is going to, the rot is deep. And if we want to hear from every South African and every person that has a contribution to make, unfortunately, South Africans are going to be suffering because they're never going to have an end. They're never going to have a tangible outcome if this is going to be our approach. So also, on the extension, we've had the second extension, and then we've had instances, and I'm not sure who to blame, obviously the Secretariat for this, where on a specific day, we have 6 people scheduled to appear before us. We would then just have 2 instead of the 6, where we were told we'll take an hour per person, and we'll spend the entire day listening and questioning and taking testimony just from 2 people. So I'm not sure how that works. Are we now just using up and taking up time just for the sake of sitting there? Also, on Paul O'Sullivan, yes, I'm happy that finally he's here, but he's also made it clear that he won't take questions from, I think it was Action SA, MK, and EFF. How will this be dealt with? Tomorrow, if he comes, he says, no, I've made it clear, I've put it out there, I will not be answering questions. How are we going to deal with this? About Ms. Trent, this is not about a person, right? The committee has seen there was evidence in terms of her involvement that was actually brought to the committee, and I actually shared that. This is about the reforms and the submissions that will strengthen the and sort of and prohibit such from happening again. It's about the committee acting. We can't be taking people every week, every time someone gets mentioned. We want to know, and then we sit there and we wonder, who's telling the truth? Is it this one or the one that appeared before Miss Sarah Jane? So I don't think that there's even a need to call her. At this point, we need to put an end to all these delays, and the very people that we are serving here, those are the people that we must think, you know what, how do we get back to them without saying we're going to extend, because it's coming across as if though we don't want to get back to the public. At all times, we should take our cue from the public. What is the climate out there? time is running out and the public is extremely impatient. We need to prioritize them. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Andile and Advocate Arense, would you like to respond to some of the questions that have been posed by members here before I summarize?
Good afternoon, Chairperson. Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, we can hear you loudly.
Thanks, Chair. No, Chairperson, all I wanted to say is that I think it's very unfair, Chairperson, to then say that legal services must give assurances regarding the scheduling of witnesses, because the names, Chair, which have been scheduled come from members, not from legal services. So I just wanted to correct that, Chairperson, that this is a committee led by members. We listen, Chairperson, to what you say we must do, and we do exactly that. So Chairperson, the resolution of that does not lie with us, Chair. With respect, the committee must lead us in that regard. Thanks very much.
Advocate Arense.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. The only comment I have is that as far as the evidence leaders are concerned, and in our consultations with Mr. O'Sullivan, which have been extensive, he's appearing tomorrow to answer questions from the evidence leaders and from honorable members of the committee. Thank you.
Nicolette van Zyl.
Sorry, Chair, and then just in relation to the fact that it now appears that the in-person appearance of Mr. O'Sullivan has been leaked to the press. I communicated that he would be appearing in person last week in confidence. I think on Thursday, when we last sat, you indicated that you would now be meeting members of the Honourable Committee offline, and also to tell them for the reason that if and when we make the statement and the annexes, which is substantial, available on SharePoint to the honourable members, they would obviously ask, now why are you sending this to us when we've made it clear that we are not going to hear him online? In that event, it was agreed with Mr. O'Sullivan that members of this committee must know that he's appearing on Tuesday, and that was the background to this matter. I have got absolutely no idea who would have conveyed this to the media, because Mr. O'Sullivan had called me, I think it was yesterday, to say that he's been, as he put it, inundated with requests to confirm that he was appearing on Tuesday. Thank you.
Nicolette. Romano.
Chair, maybe from my side, just to say that I saw the dates that are proposed there. Maybe the committee should just agree on the witnesses that we're going to call. But I've got a feeling that some of the days they might not be realistic, because as we sit right now, we don't have to have an extension we still have to write and request that. I don't know when the House will be sitting to process it. So I just thought maybe I should I should say that just in case members at some point they find that on the 23rd we are not meeting as expected. Thank you, Chair.
There has been a clarity-seeking question on public participation.
Oh, okay, Chair. With regards to public participation, if you remember, we're supposed to have gun-free South Africa. Gun-free South Africa could not come because the dates that were given to them clashed with a long-standing meeting that they had, I think, with their funders. So for that reason, they couldn't come, and they indicate that if the committee still has a slot, they are available to come. And then we had Dr. Gordon Rolls, who was also scheduled to appear. Dr. Gordon Rolls pulled out, he says for safety considerations, he decided that he would not be appearing before the committee. And then we've got Mr. Krishna Chetty that Honorable Skosana raised. We contacted Mr. Chetty via email and the cell number that he provided. And there was no response forthcoming from him. As Honorable Skosana indicated last week, he shared Mr. Chetty's number with me and I contacted him. And he indicated that he is available. So all that is left is for us, if the committee agrees to listen to further witnesses, then all that is left is for us to get a suitable date for him to appear before the committee. The same would apply to Mr. Abel Mapo. He also, the number that is on his submission, when I tried to call him, it kept saying that the subscriber is not available. Maybe just one more issue, Chair, which I don't know if I should be raising, but maybe I should, because it happened last week that we had a witness before the committee who was not cleared to come and address the committee. And the concern was raised that as the Secretariat, we had not properly vetted witnesses. But when we look at the documents presented by Mr. Chetty and Mr. Mapo, the two of them seem to be facing criminal cases, pending criminal cases, which I thought maybe as the support team, we need to have another discussion on those two. Because we do not want a situation wherein we invite witnesses before the committee, and when they come, you ask them questions and they say to the committee, we're not able to respond to the questions because the cases are still pending in court. But we commit to look at those issues, those two issues, and I think we should be able to update the committee tomorrow morning. I'm not sure of any other witness who has not been called. Safe to say that, Chairperson, if you remember, we had a meeting wherein there were witnesses that we included because one of them, for instance, had not seen the advert. And through honorable source, they requested to be included on the list. There's another one who presented a medical certificate and we also included him. And I must say that, since then, Chair, we have people who have been writing as well, who, requesting that they want to be included. I think the committee will at some point have to discuss that as well. I think that's all that I can say at this stage. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. You will compile a list of all those witnesses to the attention of the committee for decision on those matters. Thank you so much, honorable members, for your inputs, and the legal team of Parliament and our evidence leaders. We have come to the end of the discussions of the two items that were being rotated.